the stories for the day.
No,
and y'all just talk about it.
They didn't do none of that. They just was like, all right, you're on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Right.
Like,
That's why I like podcasting.
Brian,
Same thing.
I don't know how to produce a show. How do I do this? You know?
I know. Do you guys talk about it on your drive in? What we're going to talk about? Do you rehearse
we do
it?
everything the day before. So
Day
like
before.
the night, like say
Maria is the worst. We do it at like 11:50 every night.
Well, it's sort of like, famously, Regis and Kathy Lee and then Regis and Kelly didn't talk about the show until the light went on. And that is a really hard thing to pull off.
What we do.
Man.
Like say today, for example, if it was like, day of the week, I get the shows, I see certain stories throughout the day, I just send them to myself. And then at the end of the night, I would just, cause I try to do it as late as possible so it can remain current.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just put the show together and I send it in and then we talk about it. And when the show comes on, we don't like to discuss it because sometimes we'll have jokes, and then when we go do the show the next day
in the car, on the way down,
when
I
we
was
do
like,
the show
man,
the
that
next
was
day,
funny.
I'm like, why you didn't say what you said last
and
night?
then trying to do the joke live does
we
not
make
hit.
it a point to not discuss the show
Right.
because it just comes off more authentic right in front of the camera.
How's it affected your relationship working together
Oh
versus
my gosh.
not?
Lord, I need therapy.
No, he's playing.
Maria need an exorcism.
I think it's
Lord Jesus.
Exorcism.
It's fun because Josh drives me to work. That's like he's like my own personal driver. I think it's cool.
it.
But some days,
Church service.
if I'm tired or he's tired or he's being grumpy, I don't want it to show. So I'm like, hey, whatever is going on, you got to just kind of just.
And it goes on. Soon as it.
Right.
And the commercial go, I'll be like, man, why do you say that? She's like, well, why you say that? They have to be like, all right, guys.
You didn't say the joke you said last night.
Guys.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just walk away to my corner.
Uh-huh.
And the producers sometimes come down like, y'all good?
No, he's
and
playing. That's not true.
Do you share a dressing room or is it your own thing?
We don't have no dressing
Oh,
room.
is there a dressing room down there?
Our dressing room is the car. We get dressed
You do
in
your
the car.
makeup in the car?
We just get dressed at home and we come in
Maria
literally.
does
Do you do
her
your own makeup?
sometimes in the car.
Oh, makeup. Remember, I worked at the Mac.
Oh, I know
at
you
the
know
mall.
how to
I know,
do it.
Yeah, I do my
Soap
own
operas,
makeup.
soap stars do their own makeup.
Yeah.
Broadway stars do their own makeup.
All the newscasters and stuff, they do their own makeup. Yeah, we gotta. But I think it. The issue that I felt like we have is, hey, like when Josh trying to say, well, say this or don't say that, or
She don't
I'm
like
like,
to
hey,
be controlled.
I don't, and I'm thinking like, Josh, you got to treat me as if you don't know me. If I'm something like, I'm
And
your
how the heck can I do that?
I'm your coworker. You can't. You wouldn't have
that's
this
unrealistic.
You wouldn't have this
Like, what the-
attitude with someone else. Just somebody you're
Treat me
corresponding
like a
with.
worker.
No.
Well, I'm calling
Well,
HR.
he can
This
tell
is
you
crazy.
you look good, which you couldn't do if you're just a
Couldn't do it.
coworker.
He'd be slapped with a law.
Every time she say that, I smack her on the butt.
Where's HR at? Where's HR?
Yeah, call somebody.
You're my wife,
Yeah.
no HR.
I think the issue I have too, I feel like anytime like you're not allowed to have a bad day when you're working with your spouse. If you're just I don't feel like entertaining right now. Is everything okay with you and Josh? It's like, what? We've been together so long, we rarely argue.
Did you like the first time somebody recognized you that you were out without Josh and they knew you from the show? They're like, hey, you liked it, right?
That happened to him.
That happens to me now. They're like,
he'll go
you do
places.
that football thing. Is your wife with you?
Yeah.
Oh,
He'll
yeah.
call me like, yeah, man, they up here asking for you. They don't even care. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
I swear.
That's
every
right.
time.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure.
like it. I appreciate
She looks like
it.
a,
Yeah. I
And it's like
appreciate
they give me the respect.
she's the picture, you're the frame.
There you go.
There you go, baby. No. I'm just joking.
What do your kids think about this?
Well, our daughter, okay, so we had to tell them when people in your family are doing good things, you have to support them. And we've been realizing you haven't been watching the show. So now they just recently started back watching
We
the
got
show.
on our kids.
And now they're texting us, Mom, you're laughing too loud. Oh, your mic's messed up. Oh, fix your hair. I'm like, okay, I don't need you watching it like that. But yeah.
They're like, when's
they
my
love-
time?
Yeah. It's weird because it kind of reminds me of how I kind of blew it off when you were doing the football thing. They just
Right.
feel like it's like a thing mom and dad are doing. It's not, they're
You
not
know what
affected.
though?
Yeah.
This helps us. We actually have, even though we have we're learning how to argue more, but better.
Right.
Like to have because when the show happened, because we can argue the way going down there.
Right.
But we know how to cut it off. Like, all right, that's enough. Because we don't want to mess up the show.
Right.
So we argue better.
What
Like
do you
more
mean argue?
efficiently.
Because I don't feel like we argue.
We
what do you mean? Like
disagree
have a little,
strongly
like
with-
a little spat?
Disagree
Heavy facial
strongly.
tones, heavy expressions and words that I wouldn't say now. Put it like that.
What?
Does she do anything different or show a different face on television
Nope.
that she doesn't do in real life? Or is
Nope.
it, you know what you're getting
You know what you get
after 20 years or whatever?
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes the show real because Maria is who she is.
Yeah.
That's what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And when she be all extra on TV, I really trying to let people know out there, like, man, this is her. This is what I got to deal with. Welcome to my life. I take it.
All right.
Take your Advil.
One thing that you think couples make a mistake or do wrong on that you think they need to make this change and it will help their marriage or relationship. Is there one thing that you see in other couples that you're like, if only they could do this, they would be happier?
I think couples need to allow each other to just be themselves.
Oh my God. You
go to the club?
Just
nope.
Like for example,
go ahead.
For example, I have friends in my life who the spouse gets mad every time the husband goes to the gym. And it's why does that? You got to figure out, why does it bother? Why does this trigger me? Because a lot of things that I think we deal with comes from something that happened to us, way before we met our partner.
Totally agree.
From childhood.
We bring a lot of baggage into it.
Yeah, just where Josh, when we had, we were going through troubles in our marriages, he used to get offended when I would say, hey, I'm going to work on me. Because I felt like if I'm working on being the best version of myself, and you're working on being the best version of yourself,
I still hate
the
that,
relationship, the marriage couldn't help but to be better. He wanted to do marital counseling.
Right.
I said, why don't you do it individually? Why don't you do it on your own? Because
I'm like, nah, I need somebody to tell me
do the work.
You're wrong.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
I've been to couples counseling and I wanted to win. And they're like, it's not about winning.
Yeah, yes, it was always about winning. But I just feel like if you work on yourself and you become more self-aware and just more intentional about being a better version of yourself, your marriage, any relationship, would flourish. So that's what I'm big on that. But
right.
what would you say?
I agree in a different way. Mm-hmm. We try to change our partners. We try to get them to be the picture of marriage or relationship that we want them to be, instead of what we fell in love with, or the reason why we love them is they weren't affected by us.
Right.
They was who they were before we met them, and we fell for them. So we have to allow them to be that person, instead of trying to, all right, I got you, and force them into something who they weren't before they met you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Maria said, they got to be themselves, and you got to love that person and cherish that person. But it's all about love languages for me.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why me and Maria work, because she forces the best potential out of me, even when I don't want it.
Yeah.
Even when I don't want to become.
She always believed in you.
Always believe. Even if she don't believe it herself.
Right.
She makes me.
I know what you want to do.
Me.
Yeah, I know what you want to do. So I'm gonna push you to that spot. I'm not going. You can be sad. You can be depressed. You can be mad. Even with the show, like you said, do we fuss and stuff before the show? I know the goal. I know what the end game I want it to be. So I can't let an argument or a spat get in the way of what this goal is.
And he always believed in you.
Yeah.
He's been stalking you for years.
This is Maria. You are terrible.
Right. I'm just saying. It is what it is, baby.
In the interest of time, this is your first time on this podcast, and we're going to have you back because I have a lot more ground to cover. Okay. We play something called Worst Date or First Date. So this can include your spouse if you want, but think back to your swinging single days and tell us either the absolute worst date you ever went on or the absolute greatest first date you've ever gone on. Your choice. I don't care. Worst date or first date, up to you.
Can I go?
Go ahead. Josh can give you like a Rolodex of dates. I'll be over here thinking. Go ahead, baby.
My best date was with Maria.
Smart man.
We went to the Rathskeller. It was just a nice place in Kent. They had pool tables, drinks, a little atmosphere, and we got to play pool. And she actually beat me. Like, I was really trying to beat her and show my macho side. Right. But I wasn't that good. But I thought at least I could beat her.
Yeah.
And she actually beat me. And we had like this banter back and forth. That was like what you would see off a movie of something progressing to be great.
Right.
Like, we had a good little date. I took her back to her dorm room, her all girls dorm room. And it was like perfect. I never will forget that first date that we had.
Oh wow! I'm trying to think. Like,
do you remember that date?
If you go to another.
I do remember that date.
Okay.
I do remember that.
Pool's a good thing because it's challenging. You can.
And I thought I could teach her how to play.
Yeah.
Like, here, do this.
I cannot recall any. I'm trying to think of something worse. I remember being around somebody, but I don't think it was a date, and their breath was just horrible. And I told I have a wife. I told them, and so it was at Kent. and we ended up like we stopped. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
We ended up stopped talking, and I ended up getting with Josh maybe like a few months later, and then he ended up calling me and say, "Hey, I just want to thank you for what you told me about my breath. That was a rotten tooth. I had to get a root canal." He was like very grateful.
Saved his life.
Yeah, I just remember the whole time like, oh, it smelled like something died in the back of his throat. Like, get me out of here. That's all I can think about.
I was big on the breath part.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know, when dating, it ended in college. That ended not even a relationship. I was thinking about a girl and the breath just, I'm like, dang, it got late.
Yep.
You know, when you get late, you know, your breath changes from sweet to, I need to drink some water.
Sweet to sour.
Yeah. So I had a insecurity about that. So anytime I would be with Maria early in the morning, I used to get up early as I could, go brush my teeth, and then get back in the bed. So then when she turned over or something, I'm like, yeah, what's up, baby?
Oh my goodness.
Like, you don't want to end up on the discard pile like the old guy. You knew about that.
Already.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I think about.
All right. You guys were fantastic. Do you know that you can get your show online and nationally and everything, your TV show? You can pick it up, all the Sinclair channel, Roku, you can pull up your.
You can?
Yeah, you can. You can watch it all over the country now.
We didn't know that. I was too busy trying to upload it on YouTube or something.
I'm glad I could tell you that because now everything is sort of streamed even with the content. So you're on in like 75 markets.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you might want to get a raise.
Anyway, who we need to call, Josh?
It's Cribs in the CLE. Maria and Josh live.
Brian, thank you so much.
You guys were awesome.
Thank you.
As far as us, like, share, subscribe, and as always, please review this podcast. Your reviews mean a lot in the podcasting ecosystem. Check out our live tour schedule. Live. We have live shows coming up March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, at the Kelsey Theater in West Palm Beach, Florida. March 21st at Side Splitters Comedy Club in Tampa, Florida. And a bunch of places that are warmer than Cleveland. Shoot us an email, greatlovedebate@gmail.com for questions, thoughts, concerns. We have a listener letters episode coming up. We got some other celebrities coming up in the weeks ahead. You're going to like it because, as always, at the Great Love Debate, we never stop making love. See you next time.